how do you make money off-grid? If you're new to the project,
then a big warm welcome.
and if you're a tough old root, then welcome back. This is the final part to our Q&A series in which we answer your questions. I'm Josh, and this is our daughter, Ivy.
I'm Celia, and this is our son, Hamish.
Here on Steep in the Woods, we live completely off-grid on a 26-acre homestead nestled deep in the Appalachian Mountains. You'll see no fancy stuff here. It's just making do with what you have and what you can figure out. What is your solar setup like? Where did you get your solar panels? Any products you would recommend? Well, it'd be very difficult for me to recommend something at this point in this chair. I don't know the correct names for all of our products, and really in order for you to get the recommendation, I would want to give you a link. So it is smallish, right? I think we have 3 large panels. We do have a 4th one, but it's not in the system. It's just kind of hanging out. And those 3 large panels we got from our neighbor at a really good deal. I mean, that was huge for us. We still have all the solar panels from our last mountain. We're going to use those for kind of side projects, all of which will be in future videos whenever we get around to actually doing that. Those three large panels go to a charge controller. I know it's like 80 amp. It's not an expensive one. It's not a name. Well, it's a name brand. It has a brand on it. But it's not one of the $1 million ones, right? It's like $200. And then from there, they go to 2 lithium batteries. Yes, we are financially challenged. I would encourage people in our position that the only way you can make it worse is to continue to buy garbage. So don't try to do without as long as it takes to save up the money to get something that's actually good, like lithium batteries. In a perfect world, we would get a 3rd one before your batteries need to be of a similar age to connect them. So we have 2. I would like a 3rd. But yes, that is it. Used panels. Cheap charge controller, but one that does work, and then 2 lithium batteries. That is our solar setup. The next one is education, and specifically the person who asked it is a tough old root. I know that because they knew to ask the question like this. They asked, did we get our GEDs? So the question is education. I made it to the 9th grade. Yeah, that's it. I dropped out. And you see me here. Hello. I'm a high school dropout. Celia did go back, but Celia's not. I mean, she may have left school, but she went back and got her diploma. So yes, Celia is rock and roll, the smarty pants, and I am not. So, yes, Celia did a thing and I did not, but I don't see it as necessary. Not in this way of life. I would never encourage someone else to drop out, ever. I would never do that because I don't know them. Chances are they're not going to be a guy on YouTube living in the middle of nowhere who doesn't actually need anything other than like real life education. And I was smart in school. I would fail all the homework but pass all the tests.
Yes, so I am proud to say that I did get my GED. I was pregnant and I was on top of the last mountain and I did it. He did not do it.
Are we still planning on homeschooling? Dude, we're already doing it, man. Celia is. Now, obviously, I'm involved in the process, but she actually has the degree, like I just mentioned. So, yes, we are. I have zero interest in sending my children to a public school. They're your kids, and if you're supposed to like them, you're supposed to take care of them, you're supposed to keep both eyes on them, and you're going to ship them off to some, like what I see as an extraordinarily dangerous place, not only because of horrible things that's happened at schools in the past, but also just the learning.
Yeah, so I've been homeschooling pretty much since Ivy could talk, and I believe it's next year that we will start the official homeschool when you file your letter of intent and you start recording and documenting and grading and all of that. But yeah, I do homeschooling right now.
Will we build a house or modify something that's pre-built and or fix something up? We're going to build our house. I think if you've watched our shorts and have kind of read between the lines, you would know that we're building a house and we're doing that out of pallets. Hopefully that'll get a lot of views, and obviously it's cheap. I can't afford plywood. That was really one of the main reasons why we needed somewhere with no codes, was because of how expensive building supplies are. It literally pushed us out, and it's pushed a lot of people out. Your average person can no longer afford a house. Your average person can no longer even afford the materials to build a house. So our way around that was moving here with no codes, and we're going to use pallets. How do you deal with poison ivy, ticks, mosquitoes, snakes, etc.? Now this is something better suited for Celia. Poison ivy, we spray it. I don't like chemicals. I want to be as natural. I mean, we're kind of hippies, right? Well-armed hippies, but hippies. We don't like chemicals, but I'll absolutely use that on poison ivy because it's using a chemical on you, right? You're already in a chemical warfare situation. That's not the time to be all peace and love and then just get completely swamped by not matching that equal force. So yes, we spray poison ivy. With ticks, it's actually a really long, multifaceted thing. I'm gonna try to squish it down. Permethrin on all of our clothes. That product is amazing. We have multiple animals. We keep flea drops on them. They're kind of our kamikazes. Send the dog in the woods first, let all the ticks bite him, and then because of his flea medicine, those die, right? So that's crucial. Also, nematodes are incredibly useful. We've done a video on those in the past. Ticks are our main. We don't like ticks. Ticks are our main deal. So yeah, multifaceted way of dealing with ticks. As far as mosquitoes, they sell these little dunks because we have a pond and several other standing water, like areas. They make these little dunks that are supposedly only dangerous to mosquito larvae and nothing else, and we use those. And nobody's started talking funny yet, so those dunks probably work. And snakes, man, I don't see a lot of snakes. We've seen one. We've killed one copperhead in like 6 months, which is way more than I want. It's already above and beyond the acceptable level for me, but we don't really do anything for those. When you're walking in the woods, my only suggestion would be to look at the ground, look where you're stepping. We deal with snakes by looking for them all the time. If you want to look up at a tree, stop and look up. When you start walking again, look at the ground, which really is something you're probably going to be doing anyway, because this isn't a parking lot. There are things that will trip you here. So yeah, no real method for getting rid of snakes.
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is that you just accept that they are your neighbors. All of the bugs, the snakes, the predators, they live in this world just like we do. So be prepared for that. Don't freak out over it, but we keep a lookout, and we also do daily inspections. We check all over and make sure there's no teeny tiny little ticks and pick them up every single day. It's important to do it every single day. On the last property, me and Ivy both got Lyme from ticks. You have to be vigilant with it. You have to check every single day.
Will we be doing a blog anytime soon? That is on the list. The problem is everything else is too. We want everything. We want to experience every avenue of life. We want to produce as much as possible, whether that's porch swings made out of pallets, knives, leather craft, selling seeds or cuttings or whatever. We want to be producers, and that also counts for the YouTube. We are making videos. We started making shorts and posts, and a blog is also on that list.
Yeah, well, I have plans to do the blog as soon as possible. I've been trying to work on it. Unfortunately, it's kind of taken a backseat to everything else as far as, life, the YouTube channel, the website. Every single thing we got to do is just slightly more important than the blog. But I've been actively working on blog posts at least a little bit each week so that I can have a good build-up stash of blog posts and post for you guys as soon as possible.
Why do we have support links below? People have asked me to do that, man. I mean, I've literally had multiple people email me or leave comments, but people who are usually the people who want me to put a support link will email me directly. Our email is available to everyone. People have asked me to do that, and that's why they are there. So yes, why do we have support links? Because I was asked to do that, so I did. It seems stupid not to, right?
Well, we need support occasionally. That's a way of ensuring that we can keep doing this. If we aren't able to make any money off of YouTube channels, off of our social media, our website, then we just got to stop. So the support links ensure that we are able to keep doing this for you guys.
Oh, well, here's another one just basically the same. Why don't you have memberships or patronage? We do. It's called memberships. We have 3 members, and those guys are awesome. At some point, once we actually start producing more, like products and services, we're going to offer those to the members at either a much lower cost or just give them to them. Like, so when I start making knives, the members are getting knives for free. When we get enough time to do, a surplus of videos, the members will be getting videos that everyone else doesn't. It's just right now we've just started moving and everything is really difficult. All right, what are some of your hobbies? Well, I like collecting. I collect silver, I collect copper. I actually really like scrapping stuff. I like taking, garbage. They're not good items, but taking, electronics apart and seeing what all they have in them, pulling out that copper, and then you get to look at the copper. Things like silver, gold, and copper all have value. So that is a hobby that you can do that is at least somewhat profitable. Even if, like, my silver, I'm never going to turn that in. That's mainly for the kids. That's like my life insurance. I also like target sports, shooting and bows, slingshots, air rifles, all of that type of thing. I like the precision of it. I like the pride that you get when you make a good hit. And I've also those are my current hobbies, but I've got a lot more coming. Like making bows. I like herbology. I like foraging. Really just making stuff. And if it's profitable, that's a plus. So those are some of my hobbies, and I'm sure Celia has different ones.
So my biggest hobby would be the garden. I love doing anything in the garden. I love growing tomatoes and herbs and potatoes and flowers and anything you can put in the dirt. I absolutely love to grow. And that's my biggest hobby. I also really like doing crafts. My biggest crafts, I say, would be crochet and also leather making. I'm starting to try and make some wallets and to make some belts, and who knows what else I'll make.
If you could change or do one thing differently, what would you change and why? Really not much. I would not change or do much differently. I may prioritize our money and our time differently. I think I would get into I would do less things on our homestead this first year, rather than the more things that we actually did. We had rabbits, we have multiple animals, gardens, we're trying to build a house, we're trying to fix a driveway, cap springs. I would have chose less things our first year, and I would also have gotten a larger camper. So that is pretty much it, though. I'm fairly happy. If we just get, a little bit more time and a little bit more spending funds, I think this is pretty much perfect. A little more rain, be useful too. But that's what I would change if I could. And the very last one, how do you make money off grid? We are doing the YouTube. We are trying to make that more profitable. We are doing reviews and actually charging for those. We are going to start building spring kits and hopefully start making knives and bows and selling seeds and seedlings and things of that nature. And that's the type of thing that you're going to want to do. So how do you make money off grid? I would say you produce something, whether that be videos or items. I know a lot of people like do logging or dig ginseng or something. I don't think that's not really a production. I look at that as just removing resources. Yes, we have trees. They are sellable. But you really only got one, because we don't live long enough for these trees to grow back. Same thing with ginseng or any of the other valuable plants. Usually, like wood, They're valuable because they're old. So you can pull that money out once, but then it's gone. Um, I would be all for creating a ginseng farm. That's on my list. What I would do was I would take a specific piece of property, and I would plant a certain amount of ginseng in a certain area each year. And then by the 7th or 8th year, possibly longer, depending on whether the conditions are perfect and how big they get in that amount of time. You do you plant every year for 7 or 8 years, and then on the 9th year you harvest the first and replant it, and then you just kind of hop your way down. That way you're always producing and you're never running out. So something like that would be good. Also stuff that produces quickly or grows quickly, like moss. If you had a market for selling moss that is quick enough growing where you could harvest, and then even if you wanted to blend that up, and what is it, like buttermilk? I mean, something you could farm. So you want to produce or you want to farm, and both of which are on our list. And there you have it. That is the conclusion of 30-some questions from you guys, our viewers. Always remember, if you liked what you saw, hit that button. If you're new to the project, hit that other button. You want to help support the project, there are links below. Until next time, here, Steep in the Woods.